Have you ever stood beside someone in their final days, heart full but words tangled in your throat? Unsure whether saying the wrong thing might cause more pain than saying nothing at all. These moments are sacred and fragile. And yet, it's far too easy to speak with good intentions, but leave behind unintended wounds. In this video, drawn from the lived experience of hospice nurses, we'll explore 7 things you must never say to someone who is dying, and what you can offer instead. Honesty, presence, and peace that goes beyond words. 1. Saying you understand what they're feeling. Hospice nurses often share how deeply unsettling it can be for a dying person to hear the words, "I know what you're going through." Though meant as comfort, those words can quietly dismiss a very personal experience. No one, not even someone who has faced death before, can truly grasp the weight of another's final chapter. End-of-life moments are shaped by unspoken memories, lingering regrets, and private fears that may never be voiced. When we say we understand, we risk making their inner world feel small or unseen. Charles, 82, once said that what hurt more than his illness was being misunderstood by those who assumed they got it. What he needed wasn't platitudes. It was the calm of someone simply sitting beside him, willing to be present in silence. A better offering is gentle and honest. "I can't imagine what this feels like for you, but I'm here." That quiet acknowledgement carries more love than any well-meaning guess. It honors their humanity. It invites them to be fully themselves without having to explain. In the end, it's not shared experience they seek. It's shared presence. 2. Telling them to stay positive or fight harder. One of the most quietly harmful things we say, often with love, is stay strong or keep fighting. Hospice nurses hear it all the time. But for someone nearing the end, these phrases can feel more like demands than comfort. They suggest that letting go is failure or that peace only comes through continued struggle. But dying is not a failure. It's not a war to win or lose. It's a chapter that deserves honesty, tenderness, and permission to stop pushing. Helen, 79, entered hospice after years of treatment. She told me the words that hurt most weren't about her illness. They were the well-meaning lines like, "You've got this," when all she wanted was someone to say, "You don't have to fight anymore." In her final days, she found true comfort in those who didn't expect strength, but simply offered presence. The simple promise of "I'm with you no matter what" gave her a strength of a different kind, the strength to rest. What someone dying often needs isn't a pep talk, it's peace. And that peace begins when we stop expecting more of them and start meeting them where they are. 3. Saying it's all part of a bigger plan. Few phrases land more coldly than telling a dying person their suffering is part of a bigger plan. Though meant to offer comfort, it often does the opposite. It can feel like a quiet dismissal of their pain, their questions, their right to grieve. At the end of life, people aren't looking for neat answers. They're looking for permission to feel. And when we imply that their fear or sadness is somehow wrong or less important than a mysterious purpose, we risk leaving them even more alone. Ruth, 84, told me that when friends tried to comfort her with those words, she felt quietly erased. Not comforted, just unheard. What she truly needed was not cosmic logic, but connection, a gentle presence, a hand that didn't try to fix things but simply held hers. Dying doesn't need to be explained away. It needs to be honored, so instead of offering reasons, try this. "I'm here and I care." In that silence between the words, something sacred happens. Not a plan, a presence, not an answer, a witness. 4. Telling them not to cry or show emotion. Telling someone at the end of life not to cry or to be strong may seem kind, but it can quietly take away their dignity. Hospice nurses often say the final days should be a time when every emotion is welcome, not suppressed. Grief, fear, love, regret, joy, these aren't signs of weakness. They're signs that someone is still deeply alive, still feeling, still human. When we urge someone to stay positive or hide their tears, we risk making their sadness feel like a burden, something to clean up rather than carry with them. But emotions don't need to be managed. They need to be met. Walter, 80, once told me the moment he felt most at peace wasn't when he was being comforted with words, but when he cried openly beside his daughter and she cried with him. No one told him to stop. No one tried to lift the mood, just presence. Letting someone cry doesn't mean letting them fall apart. It means letting them be whole. In the end, the freedom to feel, without judgment, is one of the greatest kindnesses we can give. 5, telling them you know they're going to get better. Telling someone who is dying, you're going to get better, might feel like hope. But to them, it can feel like denial. Hospice nurses know this well. When a person nears the end, they often know it. Sometimes they've made peace with it. Sometimes they're still grappling with the fear. But almost always, they sense the truth. When we insist on a happy ending, we may unintentionally silence the most honest part of their experience. It's not that they don't want hope, it's that they want honesty more. Eileen, 83, once told me the most comforting moment of her final weeks came when a friend sat beside her and simply said, "I'm here. I love you." No bright predictions, no promises, just presence. Telling someone they'll recover when they know otherwise can leave them feeling invisible. It can sound like, "I can't face this with you," when what they need is someone who can. The real gift isn't a promise, it's presence. And presence doesn't try to fix things, it simply says, "I'm not leaving." That's what brings peace, not someday, but now. 6, saying everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. It sounds comforting, even spiritual, but for someone who is dying, those words can feel like a closed door. Hospice nurses hear it often, and just as often they see the pain it brings. People at the end of life are searching, yes, but they're not always searching for explanations. Many are simply looking for someone who will hold space for their questions, not rush in with answers. When we try to define meaning for someone else, we risk stepping on sacred ground with heavy boots. We turn their deeply personal experience into a slogan. Henry, 85, once told me the best gift he received was a friend who just listened. No theology, no theories, just a quiet willingness to be with him in the unknown. That moment didn't fix anything, but it helped everything feel a little less heavy. Peace doesn't come from wrapping pain in platitudes. It comes from presence, from the kind of love that doesn't explain but endures. So when words feel tempting, try silence instead. Let the person lead. Let their truth breathe. 7, telling them how they should feel or act. Few things rob someone of their emotional dignity faster than being told how they should feel. Hospice nurses say it all the time. Telling a dying person to be brave, to smile, or not to be afraid might sound supportive, but it can feel like rejection. In those final days, emotions aren't problems to fix. They're truths to be honored. Whether someone feels scared, angry, calm, or overwhelmed, their emotions are not wrong. They're real. When we pressure someone to stay strong, we often mean well. But we risk making them feel like their natural reactions are somehow disappointing or inappropriate. Samuel, 84, once told me the kindest thing his sister ever said was, "You can feel whatever you need to feel, and I'll stay with you." No advice, no judgment, just permission to be human. That kind of radical acceptance allows a person to die the way they lived, with authenticity. So instead of trying to cheer them up or change their mood, simply be the person who says, "I'm not going anywhere." That is love at its most generous. and most powerful. As we close this video, I hope these 7 reflections helped you see how deeply words can shape our presence in life's most fragile moments. Which one stayed with you? Which would you carry into a future conversation with someone facing the end? It's not about finding perfect phrases. It's about being real, honest, compassionate, willing to sit with discomfort and still stay. When we speak with intention, we offer more than comfort. We offer dignity, peace, and sometimes even healing. I'm truly grateful you spent this time with us. Now I'd love to hear your voice. Drop a comment below and share just one thing that moved you or opened your eyes. Even a small thought might comfort someone else reading. Your presence here matters, and your support, liking, subscribing, sharing, allows us to keep creating meaningful content like this for those who need it most. So thank you for being here, for listening, for showing up with an open heart. We'll see you again soon.